Dear students, welcome to Social Science YouTube channel. Today I'm uploading video number 2. In this video number 2, we discuss history's first chapter, Advent of Europeans to India. In this chapter, we learn the following things: the trade and commerce relationship India had with European countries, the arrival of Europeans to India for trade purpose, the Carnatic Wars in the backdrop of European political developments, even Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, and the dual government system. So on this chapter, you can expect 1 mark and 2 mark questions. So many times in the board examinations, 2 mark questions are being asked on this chapter. Let us discuss this chapter. Even we learn about British policy of aggressions also. Trade and commerce relationship between India and Europe. Who was the trade and commerce between India and the Europe? There was a great demand for Indian spices like pepper, cardamom, ginger, and many other spices in Europe. So European countries were purchasing all these Indian spices, and also there was a great demand for Indian spices in European market. But how the trade was happening between the East and West? Italians and the Arabs were the major traders before 15th century. Italians had monopoly on European trade. It means entire European trade was under the control of Italians, whereas Arabs had monopoly on Asian trade. So these Arabs were purchasing all these spices and other items from Asian countries, and they were selling them to the Italians. So then Italians were selling them to the Europeans. Like this, the trade was happening between the East and the West. So here, two major countries in the trade and commerce between the East and West are India and Europe, were Italy and the Arabs. Then finally, Italian merchants would buy the goods at Constantinople and then sell them in European countries. Yes. So here, all the Arab nations, they were purchasing goods and services from Asian countries. After purchasing goods and services from Asian countries, so they were carrying the same goods and services to Constantinople here. So Italians used to come to the Constantinople, they were purchasing the product and they were selling them to other European nations. Like this, the trade transactions was happening. Then this Constantinople was called as a center. It was well known for the center of international business. So it was considered as a gate of European trade. So this can be asked for 1 mark question. Why Constantinople was called gate of European trade? Because it was a center of international business. So it was called, or it was considered as a gate of European trade. So this Constantinople was also capital of Byzantine Empire. Byzantine is another Roman Empire. Two Roman empires were there, Eastern Roman Empire and Western Roman Empire. Eastern Roman Empire capital was this Constantinople or the present Istanbul. So let us see the fall of Constantinople and its consequences. What happened to the Constantinople? In the 1453, the Ottoman Turks, they were the Arabs, or the Seljuk Turks, captured the city of Constantinople. When they captured the city of Constantinople, so they controlled over the city. Not only they controlled over the city, and also they controlled over all the trade routes which were connecting to Constantinople. So after controlling over all the trade routes connecting to the city of Constantinople, what they did, they started to levying too many taxes. Means they put too many taxes on the goods passing through Constantinople. Hence, the merchant of Europe felt that the trade through it, means Constantinople, was not profitable. So see, already Italians, Arabs were there in the distribution chain. Now one more, Turks also entered. When the distribution chain is lengthy, the profit decreases. So the goods of Asia or India become costlier for Europeans. So when they become costlier for Europeans, Europeans decided to stop trade through Constantinople and find the new sea route to India. Yeah. So you can expect even a 2 mark question. How did the fall of Constantinople result in the discovery of new sea route to India? So that time, previous and this point you should write it. Next, what are the main reasons for discovery of new sea route to India? Yeah, this can be expected for a 2 mark question. Let us see what were the reasons for the discovery of new sea route to India. There was a great demand for Indian spices in the West. Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople. Trade through the Constantinople was not profitable due to many taxes. These things I have already explained you in the previous one. So these are the first three reasons for the discovery of new sea route. And even the Spain and the Portugal were attempting to break the monopoly of Italian traders. Yes, even Spain and Portugal wanted to control the European trade. So therefore, these people also tried to break the monopoly of Italian traders. Even they encouraged the sailors to find a sea route to India, especially Henry the Navigator. He was the king of Portugal, and Isabella, the queen of Spain, both took initiative and they encouraged the sailors, courageous sailors, to find the sea route to India. This is another point led to the discovery of new sea route. Even the invention of compass, astrolabes, and the gunpowder helped to discover sea route. Yes, even new scientific discoveries like compass, astrolabes, gunpowder also helped to discover new sea route. So compass is minor compass which helps to find the directions. Astrolabe, it was a device which was helping to find the distance between Earth and heavenly bodies. So it was helping the sailors to travel on particular latitude. Gunpowder, they use this gunpowder to protect themselves from the enemies. So these are the main reasons for the discovery of new sea route to India. Yes. So let us go about the Portuguese. So all of you know that Vasco da Gama discovered new sea route to India. This Vasco da Gama was a Portuguese sailor. He left Lisbon and reached Kappadu near Calicut on the west coast of India in 1498. So Calicut is in Kerala. Okay, don't get confused. Calcutta and Calicut. Calicut is in Kerala. Calcutta is in West Bengal. Okay, this Vasco da Gama took almost 10.5 months to reach India, and successfully he discovered the new sea route to India in 1498. So the Portuguese were the first to re-establish trade between India and the Europe. Yes, after the fall of Constantinople in the hands of Ottoman Turks, almost the trade was closed between East and the West, means India and the Europe. So this Portuguese re-established trade between India and Europe. And even Portuguese were the first to arrive at India for the trade and were also lost to leave India on the sea route. So they came to India in 1498 CE, whereas they left India in 1961 CE. After liberating Goa in the year 1961, they left India. So therefore, they were first to arrive and last to leave India among the Europeans. Yeah, let us see the achievements of Portuguese. So Francisco de Almeida, he was the first viceroy or governor general of the Portuguese in India. He implemented blue water policy. Why did he introduce blue water policy? You can expect a 1 mark question. I introduced or implemented blue water policy in order to establish the supremacy over the sea trade of supremacy instead of supremacy over land. When Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople, that was a land route. So they lost the control over the land route. So therefore, to establish supremacy over the sea route, he introduced blue water policy. After Francisco de Almeida, another person came to India as a Portuguese viceroy. He was Alfonso de Albuquerque. So he came India as a viceroy of Portuguese after Almeida. So he is considered as a real founder of the Portuguese Empire in India. Why he is considered as a real founder of Portuguese Empire in India? Because he waged a battle against the Sultan of Bijapur in 1510 and won Goa. So he defeated the Sultan of Bijapur and he captured Goa. So to do so, he took the help of Vijayanagara ruler Krishnadevaraya. So Vijayanagara ruler Krishnadevaraya had good friendship with Portuguese. And even after capturing Goa, he made Goa as their capital. So Goa became administrative center in India. So it means Goa was the capital of Portuguese in India till the end, means till the 1961. Almost a century, Portuguese controlled over Indian trade. But later, after a century, means in 17th century, they lost control over Indian trade. Their power declined. Why their power declined? Because the arrival of English and the French in India. When English and French arrived to India, so the Portuguese power declined. Okay, so this is about the Portuguese. Let us go to the Dutch. Dutch are from Holland or Netherlands. Yeah, the people of Holland or Netherlands are called as a Dutch. How the people of Portugal called as a Portuguese, like the people of Holland or Netherlands are called Dutch. Dutch East India Company was established in 1602 in Holland with the aim of doing business with the eastern countries. So eastern countries means India, even Java, Sumatra, Malaya, Indonesia. They're called as the spice-rich islands. So Dutch had trade contact with all these people. And as soon as they came to India, they broke the monopoly of Portuguese in India. As I told you in the previous slides, Portuguese had monopoly over Indian trade almost for a century. But that monopoly was broken by this Dutch. Dutch controlled over Indian trade for a few years. Even later, even they could not also sustain in India. They were unable to face competitions from English and French, so they limited with spice-rich islands. Anyone, you can expect a one-mark question. Why did Dutch limit themselves to spice-rich islands? Because they were unable to face competitions from English and the French. So this is about the Dutch. Next, after the Dutch, who came to India? English came to India. So the England was ruled by Queen Elizabeth. She gave permission or license. A royal charter means a license. She permitted East India Company trade with Eastern countries for 15 years. In 1600, December 31st. It means she gave license to East India Company to trade with Eastern countries for 15 years on 31st December 1600. The same year, English East India Company was established. After establishing English East India Company, so East India Company contacted Jahangir. Jahangir was a Mughal emperor at that time. So they wanted permission to start warehouses and the factories in India. So therefore, they sent a person called Captain William Hawkins. In your textbook, the name is not given. This Captain William Hawkins first came to the court of Jahangir and requested Jahangir to permit them to start a factory and the warehouses. But Jahangir gave only permissions to start warehouses of factories. Warehouses means godowns at Surat. Again, the British wanted permission for factories. After a few years, they sent one more person to the court of Jahangir. That was Sir Thomas Roe. He's the second ambassador who came from England to the court of Jahangir to get permission for factories. He was sent by James I. And even he sought the permissions from Jahangir to establish factories in other places of Mughal Empire. His first one got the permissions to start warehouses, whereas second one got the permissions to start factories. Okay, so Sir Thomas Roe was a man who came to Jahangir's court as a British ambassador, and even he took the help or permissions to start factories in India. Even English established their factories in Agra, Ahmedabad, and the Broch and other places. First, Surat, warehouse, in these places established the factories. Even in 1639, English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri and established a strong fort named Saint George Fort. So this is another thing. They can ask, how did English control over Madras? So they took Madras from king of Chandragiri, and around that city or the place they constructed Saint George Fort. So they strengthened the place. And then how did they get Bombay? Charles II, the Prince of England, gave Bombay as an annual rent of 10 pounds a year to East India Company in 1668. So actually this Charles II married the Portuguese Princess Catharina. When he married the Portuguese Princess Catharina, they gave some places and some gifts to Charles II. Even Bombay was also part of that gift. So he received Bombay as a gift from his wife Catharina. Later, the same Bombay he gave to East India Company as an annual rent of 10 pounds. So like this, Bombay came under the control of East India Company. So actually Bombay was a marshy island, a wet island, a very small island, but it was developed very well by the British and they made it as a gateway of India. Even Kolkata, present Kolkata, earlier it was called as a Calcutta, but before British it was called as a Kalikata. Let us see how did English control over this. In 1690, the English purchased 3 villages, namely Sutanauti, Kalikata, and Govindapura of Hooghly River, and they built Fort William. Yeah, they built St. George in Madras. The same way they built Fort William around this Kalikata. So later they named as a Calcutta and made it as their capital. So Calcutta was the capital of British in India for many years. Till 1911, they ruled India from Calcutta. In 1911, they shifted their capital from Calcutta to India. So the English made Calcutta as their capital city. And even initially, they implemented their own civil and criminal procedures, codes, in the areas that they were under their control. Like this, they control over India. So whichever the places under the British control, in such places, so British civil and criminal laws were working. So others laws were not working in such places. So Indian laws are not applicable in such places. Let us go to the French. The French East India Company started as a government-owned company in 1664. It was started in 1664 and it started its first factory in Surat in the year 1668. When French took Wali Kandapuram from the local Muslim officials, that center is the Puducherry or Pondicherry. So later the same Puducherry or Pondicherry became capital of the same Puducherry or Pondicherry became the capital of French in India. So Goa was the capital of Portuguese, Calcutta was the capital of English, whereas Pondicherry was the capital of French. Even French also controlled and ruled few places of India till 1954. Even Dupleix, who arrived in Pondicherry as the Governor General of French, had high ambitions. He wanted to establish French Empire in India, or French as a major power in India or in South India. So even British also wanted to establish their empire in India, and French also want to establish their empire in India. So therefore, this is led to the clashes between the British and the French. So that such clashes led to the Carnatic Wars. So that Carnatic Wars and establishment of British rule in India. Under that, we learn Battle of Buxar and Battle of Plassey. And even at the end, we learn dual government. All these things we learn in video number. So I'll continue the same chapter as a part 2. I will upload tomorrow. Thank you. For more videos, subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon for further notification. Thank you.